Hello and welcome to the monthly preview of the September issue of The Banker, which is our special SciBoss issue to get the transaction banking industry geared up and ready for the first in-person event in 3 years. I'm Joy Macknight, editor of The Banker, and with me in the studio is Liz Lumley, deputy editor, who wrote the cover story on digitising trade finance. Liz, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
So I have to say, that move from a very paper-based, slow and inefficient process that global trade finance has been for a long time and move it into the digital realm, that discussion has been ongoing for a long time. What has been sort of recent changes?
I hate to say it because this phrase has been used over and over again over the past few years, but because of the COVID pandemic, that those digital goals have been accelerated. Just because out of need, you mentioned paper-based. The global trade industry is very paper-based. When countries are in lockdown and you physically can't have, for example, a paper bill of lading in the port in Singapore, you have to allow it electronic. And that has kind of pushed a lot of the digital processes for a lot of the different parts of that trade finance ecosystem.
And then what are the specific challenges to making, the digitization of this process happen?
It's really just the nature of global trade. There are so many different entities involved in global trade, shipping companies, merchants, warehouses, ports, banks. The banks are far along in their digital journey, but they're dealing with, small factories in Bangladesh that make T-shirts. They're dealing with Amazon. They're dealing with, small ports and big ports. And that process makes it difficult to digitize the whole global network. They're getting all those people around the same table. It's not the technology that's the issue; it's that agreement and the standards that are the issue. So it's just the fragmented nature of what global trade is that is the biggest barrier.
So let's touch on that around the standards. What role will a global standard actually play in really trying to advance this digitization?
So a lot of the banks I spoke to are very optimistic about standards and helping them with linking systems and that interoperability that they're looking for. So they're looking for standards and APIs. They're looking for legal framework standards. All of those things are being worked on and adopted by various countries. I mean, as I mentioned before, the technology isn't the issue. It's getting everyone around the same table saying, this is the document that we will all agree is legal and binding, and this is the API standards that we're working on. So that's really that key to linking all these disparate players in the global trade industry.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your insights, Liz.
No worries. Thank you.
So you can read Liz's cover story as well as all the other SciBoss coverage in our September issue of The Banker and on thebanker.com.